you hear me? No problem.
Really sorry about that.
Oh, it's no problem at all, dude. Hey, and
Alright.
I made you wait on me because of my needy dog, so. Alright, so my name is Brandon. Uh, in-game name Isanari, Diamond 1 slash Master Tier top laner. Um, so,
Alright.
first and foremost, your name and anything you'd like to work on immediately just through talking.
I'm Mihal, and I'm just kind of like I just really want to understand how to play in high pressure situations more, like how to win lane or how to go even against, like, say, a Riven, Rengar, or Yasuo, like high aggression champions.
Okay, so in those situations, alright, so first let's talk, like, into those champions, what are champions you're comfortable playing? You know, like, what would you pick into those?
Like most of the time, champions I pick into that would probably be like, let's say, Renekton, Malphite, Maokai,
Okay,
like champions with higher sustainability.
okay, so there, with those champions, there's two different ways to essentially win a lane against, you know, a higher pressure uh, champion, such like with Renekton. Obviously, you want to you want to out aggress the enemy essentially, because with Renekton, he's got a lot of early game power just built into his kit. You know, he can do a lot of damage. He has really good sustain, and he has really high mobility. So he's just got everything he needs in the early game to outtrade you and, you know, make your life hell. That's how you want, like, so if you're playing against like a Riven or an Irelia, you really want to punish, like, you want to look for any mistakes they make, like with their positioning, or, you know, like if their like abilities are on cooldown or something like that. Like if, say, Riven uses her shield or Q, and you know it's on cooldown, you can start, you take advantage of these opportunities and trade like that. So you know you have the advantage. You want to create advantageous situations for yourself, like in the situation with Renekton, because he's a lane bully, right? You know, that's his job. Like that's what he's been known as ever since, you know, season 3. He's been the top lane bully. He's picked into Jax to bully him out. With Malphite and Maokai, you know, that dynamic changes a lot. You go from being the aggressor to being more passive in that lane, because, you know, your damage isn't as high as Renekton. You know, you're relying on a resource, which is your mana, and, you know, it's just generally a little harder in the early stages of the game. With those champions, more what you want to do, like look to do against, like, you know, a Riven, Irelia, Gnar, whatever, is just to farm. You know, stay safe, farm up, like just try not to let them get a kill on you, essentially. Because what they're going to be looking to do is they're going to look to try and kill you, deny, like, you know, deny you a lot of farm and EXP by killing you, and then, you know, taking that even like advantage that they gained and pressuring you even further. If you can just, like, stay alive, you know, you're gonna come out of the lane down CS more than likely. Like, it's probably gonna happen, and that's fine. You don't need to have like if you're down like 20 CS at the end of laning phase, that's perfectly fine and haven't died. You've done your job. But with those champions, you're more looking for ganks. Like, you're looking to set up ganks with Maokai and Malphite. Like, Maokai has his root, like targeted root, which allows junglers to come in very easily and get kills. Malphite, once you hit 6, you have your ult, which is really hard to dodge unless you're really fast with your flash. But even then, that burns a flash. So you're more looking to create situations to where your jungler can help you get ahead. If your jungler doesn't come top lane, it's really unfortunate, but you just gotta prevent those champions from snowballing. You get what I'm saying? Where I'm coming
Yeah.
from there? Yeah. So you just want to prevent the snowball champions from snowballing, like by either playing passively or, in Renekton's case, playing aggressively, out aggressing them. Because Renekton's really he's really strong, like levels 1 to 9, like you have to take advantage of that. Anything else that you just want to talk about through voice, or because we can hop into a game whenever.
No, like most of the time, the best way I learn is like through hands-on, like actually facing people.
Okay, so this next part's up to you. There are a couple ways we can do this. We can either have you if you're capable of streaming or something, you can stream the game while I watch it and commentate on it a couple seconds behind, because that's unfortunately how it works. If you're not, I can either do spectate or I can just play against you myself. Any one of those three is perfectly okay.
I would honestly prefer to like 1v1 you, let's say like Summoner's Rift in top lane, because that's how I basically learned from my old coach, who's now Diamond 5 and who I've beaten successive times.
Okay, then we can do that. That's fine. Yeah. All right. I'm inviting you real quick. All right. So, what matchup would you like to practice in particular first? You can just tell me who you want me to play, and that's fine.
I really don't mind. I just kind of want to learn how to play Yasuo and Gnar better.
Okay, well, alright. First off, before we start this, I'm gonna, actually, no, fuck, screw it. This will be easier if, we play first. So, this game, I want you to play Gnar, okay?
Alright.
Alright, I'm gonna pick, let's see, who does Gnar do well against? Sorry, there's a couple champions here that I'm trying to think. I'm trying to think who would be. I'm gonna pick Riven here because my Riven's all right, but it's not the greatest in the world. I've been working on it, but this is a champion you'll probably see a lot. Um, in gold area, gold silver area. I assume a lot of people play her, right?
Yeah, I'm already starting to see a lot.
Yeah, you'll start to see a lot of Rivens that pop up because she's got a lot of carry potential.
Is it less common in your elo now?
It's still pretty common to see Rivens but she's not as popular as say Irelia, Lysandra, Gnar.
Basically what I've seen is that she peaks out at about plat to low diamond in popularity, and then she just slowly declines a bit.
Yeah, but the Riven players that exist up in higher elo, you got your
They're
Box.
ridiculous.
Yeah, you got Box, Viper, all of them. They will hand you your ass if you don't play on your toes. Yeah. So it can get pretty painful. But I just kind of want to for this game, I want to just kind of get a feel for how you play out laning phase, because that's a really big thing. Is just Gnar's laning phase is extremely important.
I can kind of give you a general outlook on how I play it, because I've mainly been used to having to play tanks for the ranked team that I'm now a sub for. Used to be the main. But it's pretty much just since I've been playing tanks so much, I've just gotten into the habit of passively farming and not aggressing much.
Yeah. They're still playing, with Maokai, Malphite and stuff like that, there's actually, you can still turn on the aggression.
It just depends on the matchup.
Yeah, and just the situation you're given.
And could you refer me a good Gnar build or something? Because that's one of the problems I've also had.
Yeah, I'll try and get you a couple builds after this. Well, I just learned something. All right, yeah. So we're top lane, right?
Yeah. Did you go like mid lane or
No,
something?
I went top. I was just making sure.
Oh.
Just double checking. Ugh. This is my first game of the day, so I apologize if I'm a little rusty here.
Same. I just came back from school. We
Ah,
had a change of classes, so
yeah. I don't
on the
start school
nerves.
for forever, so. Okay, so I just saw. So the first thing, never take that mastery, the runic blessing. It it is never worth it.
Which one?
The one that gives you the
Like,
50 health shield.
oh yeah,
It is
yeah.
never worth it. Like, there's so many better points to spend. You know, like
Right.
it's all right early game, but the shield doesn't scale. So like once you hit
Like
like
if
level
it
three,
scaled, it wouldn't be the worst thing. Is
yeah,
what you're saying?
yeah. If it scaled or like it refreshed every time you went back to base, it wouldn't be the worst thing.
It'd be a
That's
viable
yeah, but you have
thing
to.
you're
You
saying.
essentially have to die in order for it to be useful, and then it's only 50. So by like level 3, it's already lost like its entire purpose. Okay, so the first thing I see is when you auto attack me, you don't reset the minions. So you took a lot of damage just from minion auto attacks that could have been prevented there. Like, you lost 150, 200 health just from minion damage. Because my auto attack depleted your shield, and then the rest was just minions. So when you auto attack, you want to be sure to reset the minions, because like left alone, they can really start to hurt. Alright, so when engaging like that, um, like Mega Gnar is good, yeah, or it's later, but early on, Mini's actually probably a lot stronger. So when you hit Mega, you kind of just early on you want to farm. Taking W at level 2 also helps you pressure a lot better because, you know, it gives you that stun. The leap is alright, like if you know that you're going to be ganked, or like, you know, the jungler is going to be there at some point. Or, but you generally will want to take W so you can just keep pressuring with your auto attacks because you're ranged. So since you have the range advantage, you want to kind of keep them on the like ranged leash. Like this applies like more to 80 carries and stuff too, but like ranged top laners as well. Since you have that range, you want to abuse it. You know, like that's what a lot of people say about like Caitlyn. But you can also do that on like any ranged top laner like Gnar, Lissandra, etc., etc. Whoa. You're farming really well. That's really good. Oh, very good job. Oh, okay. Yeah, so when you go mini, you need to be alright. So when playing Gnar, like a thing that you need to be careful of is like you need to really watch your rage bar. Like I know it sounds like self-explanatory, but a lot of people will base their aggressiveness off of how much rage you have at the time. So if they see that you're about to go back into mini form with low health like that, you know, that's when a lot of the aggression will turn up. That's when a lot of people will start going aggro because they know that you're going to be a lot weaker. Your base sets in Mininar are weaker than most champions. Because,
Aren't they some of the lowest in the game?
yeah, they're some of the lowest in the game because Meganar has some of the highest in the game. So it's the trade off. So when you like are exiting Mega, you need to be aware. Like when you hit about 15 rage, you need to be able to disengage in like a situation if you're low, so that can't happen. You know, just kind of keep yourself safe at that point. But like, yeah, so far like I'm not noticing any super glaring like laning mechanic issues. Like things you could be doing better. Like right now, you could be using like earlier on you could be using your auto attacks a lot more. But that you didn't take W second, so it's not big of a deal. When you generally that's like what you want to do. You take W second and just start autoing when you get the level advantage. Pushing the lane's a really good idea early on because you're ranged, you have that advantage, and you can just pressure it. Like that's what Mini Gnar is all about. It's just he's about making sure your enemy can't go in like to farm. Like he has to play safe, can't farm as well and stuff. And then Mega Gnar is when you want to like do your all-ins because you have your ultimate in that form, which like really does damage, and it's more CC. So just you need like with playing Gnar, you need to like use the two forms in tandem essentially. Yeah, see, it's like that situation right there. When you're getting close to going out of Mega, that's when most people are gonna go all in. So you like around, like I said, 15 rage. You start trying to position yourself a little more safely than you normally would. I play a lot of Gnar, so I understand how to play against him. So like this matchup is a little skewed, but yeah, in that situation it probably would have been better just to go back. Like I said, you don't want to essentially when you're playing against like Riven, Irelia, heavy pressure champions, you want to just try not to give up kills. Like you scale a lot better than they do just because like into the mid game because you're a tank. Tanky stats are better from like the 20-minute mark, like not even 20, like 15-minute mark to like the 30-minute mark when people start completing their penetration items and getting stuff under their belt. That's when tankiness reigns supreme. And since you're playing Gnar, he's essentially a hyper tank in Mega Gnar form. If you just like go throughout laning phase without dying, yeah, sure, you might be down. You could be down some CS, but if you just make it through, then you'll notice that you'll have a bigger impact on the game than the Riven, Irelia, etc. will, because you'll just be tankier. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. So just it's hard, I know, but like just trying to minimize your losses in laning phase is like what is the primary focus against these high pressure lanes. For Gnar mechanics, what I'm seeing, you could be using like a lot more boomerangs. Like you're throwing them into the minions a lot. You should be like constantly moving around in lane to look for opportunities to kind of hit the opponent. Even if you just clip them through the minions and don't get the full damage off on them, it's damage is damage. It's gonna stick, or force them to use like potions or something like that, right? Yeah. Even that, even though it doesn't look like a lot, it's still something. So you wanna just in Mini Gnar form, you just want to be the annoyance and whittle them down. So when you hit Mega Gnar, you can duel them. And you always want to keep track of like enemy cooldowns. So like if you see me Q like that and then I start running away with my E on cooldown, that's when you can start walking up to me and trading because I don't have anything the gap close back onto you with. Alright. So, alright, here's a little tip, a little Gnar tip for you that I just find I find to be a little easier when playing him. Landing W on a mobile target like Riven, Irelia, etc., can be really difficult because it's really telegraphed. It has a long wind-up animation, and it's really obvious. So, when you're like looking to go in like that, I recommend just like ulting first to throw them into a wall, and that lines up your W perfectly. So you can like essentially chain CC someone, make it so that they can't move, and you can just get free damage into them. It's not a bad thing to use Gnar's ult, even if you can't 100% kill them. Like, just being able to put a lot of damage onto somebody and force them to recall or maybe like burn a summoner is essentially worth it as well. It's a really good trade in that situation. But since you W'd like freely, it freed me up to a chance to dodge, and I was able to turn the fight like that. For build, I think you're doing like that build is pretty good. I'd recommend completing the Ninja Tabby before going with the Warden's Mail, but so far, like, you know, you're down. You just need to get tanky at this point. You can't afford to build damage at this point because you're not ahead. Randuin's is a good option. I think your build is fine for now, like given the circumstances. If you get ahead, a Brutalizer isn't a bad idea, but as of right now, your build is fine. Okay. So, assuming, like, just to say...
One sec, my sound just cut out.
That's fine. Oh my god.
There we go.
Alright, so, right now, here, like, assuming, like, if no kills happen in this lane, and this was just the CS differential, this would be a good laning phase for you. Like, this would have been a fine laning phase. You could have impacted fights a lot better than I could have if, like, no kills were given up. So, like, that's what I mean by, like, playing defensively. Like, yeah, you'll miss out on farm and stuff like that, but it's worth it because you have really high base damages on your abilities, especially in Mega Gnar form. So you don't need the damage as much as like a Riven or something. Like I really need to complete a Triforce because you just do damage even if you build pure tank. You're a threat. So like giving up that little bit of CS early on, it's perfectly okay. And then when you throw your boulder, try and just throw it into places where you can pick it back up because it's really big. If I know that it's not, like if it's on cooldown, I can start trading and you won't be able to retaliate with a boomerang or boulder depending on when. But yeah, like I don't think your CS is fine. Like that's not really a problem for you, so that's really good. Yeah, that's a fundamental that most people will struggle with. So the fact that you're able to keep up decent amounts of farm even in a situation where you're being pressured is really good. I think you just need to start like working on your ability to play safe, and I really recommend taking teleport instead of ignite. Like even if you don't like necessarily understand how to use it to like create like map pressure and stuff like that, it just helps with being able to go back in lane and the ability to like shop. Yep. Yeah, see what I mean though? Gnar does damage no matter what you do, right? Like you have 2 Doran's blades and you're hitting extremely hard. So just minimizing the damage. Yeah, minimizing the amount of kills that the other person gets. Because you know, once you get like a 3-4 kill Riven, it's not really your problem anymore. It's the team's. Essentially, yeah. What's gonna happen is that Riven isn't gonna be going for you. Like that's stupid. Why would she do that in a fight? She's gonna be gunning it straight for your carries, and they're gonna be upset because she's gonna be really strong and like essentially one-shot them, right?
Yeah.
So, but yeah, like taking teleport will allow you to like go back in those situations. Like when I dove you earlier, it'll allow you to go back and shop and come back and not miss out on too much in those matchups.
Or get a kill.
Yeah.
Mistakes happen.
Yeah, get a kill. Like if you're sitting here and you notice like something happening in the bot lane, that's an opportunity for you to go and get a kill somewhere else, which will help in turn snowball your lane. Little things like that. Cause like ignite is when you have like a lot of kill pressure, but you don't have all the kill pressure in the world. It's like Riven has more kill pressure than you do, by far. And also, well, you've been doing really good about this, but I'll just mention it just in case. While looking for a way to throw someone into a wall is always a really good, like, it's also is what you want to be doing as Gnar. Don't let an opportunity for a good ult pass you up just because they're not near a wall. Like, throwing them, like, into a bad position is just as good as throwing them into a wall and stunning them. So, like, when you're engaging a team fight, if you notice that, like, their mid laner's too far forward or something like that, and you can throw them into your team, just don't hesitate. Yeah, that's the rage bar thing coming into play again. Like it just takes time to work that out. Gnar's really complicated. Like on paper he seems really easy. Like you see people play and you go, oh that's easy, but it takes a lot of time, like Renekton, to be able to manage your rage bar effectively. So like definitely don't feel frustrated or anything about it because it takes a very long time to be able to know how much rage you're going to get on an auto attack or how much rage you lose per second, etc., etc. Alright, so I think we can get out of this game. Like you're playing pretty well. Your farm's good. Your farm it's fine for like being in the situation that you're in, especially like in a losing lane. Well, losing lane kind of. But your farm's good. It's just like working on that whole like playing safely away from your jungler. That's hard to work on in 1v1 situations because there's no jungler to wait for. But yeah, I definitely recommend in harder matchups like that taking the TP because it will allow you to make those plays, be safer in lane, etc., etc. Like Ignite's fine. Like I take Ignite sometimes on Gnar when I'm playing against like a lane that I know I'm gonna win. Like say like I'm playing against like a Hecarim or who else does Gnar just crush? Like sometimes I'll take Ignite playing against a Renekton and stuff like that. Just because I know I have the advantage in that lane. I want to press it. Like Rumble is a good one too. But TP is generally just the better option because it allows you to have that map presence and also just have like a presence in your own lane. Like for when you get chunked out, because that's the difference between the TP and the Ignite. Like with the Ignite, if you get chunked out and you say like I shove like 3 minion waves under the tower while you're back, like there's nothing you can do to come back from that, But with TP, you can come back, at least salvage some of that EXP so you're not too far behind and keeping up. Alright. Like we can do Yasuo now if you'd like.
Alright.
Is there anyone once again, is there anyone in particular you'd like me to play while practicing Yasuo or just
not really. I'm not exactly that much of a good Yasuo player.
That's fine. He's even harder than Gnar is. Like he takes a very long time to figure out. There's so many just like intricate little things that you have to do with his kit. It takes some time. He's definitely not. He's like Lee Sin, where it comes. You have to like know what you're doing with him. All right, we just taking it to the top lane again.
Yeah.
Okay.
Have you heard about the Liquid and Curse merger?
Yes, because Curse can't advertise their Curse voice brand like they want to, so they essentially told the league team to go find someone else. Yeah, so Team Liquid is now a thing. Team Liquid with their manager, Curse or Liquid, so it's gonna be Liquid now. That's funny. I'm trying to think. Who should I play? kind of want to. I got.
What is broken can be reforged.
I think this is pretty good. This is actually a really good. I think personally, this is a good matchup for Yasuo. So this will also give you a chance to see some things. Some do's and don'ts of Gnar. I played this matchup quite a few times, Gnar and Yasuo and Gnar, and alright, I'm gonna give you a few pointers early on. Early, taking wind wall at 3 is a really good idea here, because his boomerang has a 20-second cooldown at rank 1, and usually most Gnars will get all their abilities at level 3 as well. So you can really hard deny him that ability to boomerang harass if you wind wall it in time, either on its the go or comeback.
First or second pass.
Yeah, either on the first or second pass. Like if he just can't catch it, that's a lot of free time that you get just to kind of do whatever you want, because that boomerang is the majority of his damage early on.
So, do you normally start E or Q on Yasuo?
It depends on how I feel about the lane. Like, if I feel like I need the early mobility to dodge like early skill shots, then I'll take the E. But most of the times I'll just start Q, because like I'll only start E against like Syndra or Ahri or something like that, where I need the extra mobility. But Q just allows you to push the wave faster, because you can Q through multiple minions. Crit a couple hopefully, and just kind of get level 2 earlier by that and apply pressure. Or you can use it to farm behind your minion wave, which is really good too, because it forces the enemy to come towards your wave in order to hit you, and that's always a bonus. So it's personal preference. In this matchup, I like you though.
So, how long have you been playing League?
I started playing League about when Nocturne was released. A few days before Nocturne was released. So like late season
Wow.
1, late season 1.
Wow.
I made it to 30 before season 2 hit, and my elo in season 1 was nothing to brag about. I was like 860 something, so I wasn't even bronze.
Actually, you would have been bronze. You would have been bronze 5. I'm pretty sure.
Something like that. Yeah, like once again, and also like 21-9 is gonna be better than 9-21. Like sometimes against like Irelia or just, like J4 or something like that, I'll run 13-17, which will actually give you a little bit of tankiness to survive the lane. Because that runic blessing just isn't very good. But I'll get you some runes and mastery pages for these champions after we're done here. Because I don't expect anything like change like right after one game.
Anyways, like I started probably mid season 1. I just took like a 2.5-year break though.
Alright, well see, right now, like you're just letting me get a bunch of free auto attacks on you. That's...
But you forgot a reset wave, so you just took huge.
Exactly. Like I didn't reset the wave as well as I could have. Like I thought I could get the 3rd auto attack on you, but that happens. In this situation, I think starting longsword 3-pot would actually be better. It's better against most range, because the 3% lifesteal you're getting isn't really doing you much. It just doesn't do you much, and the 70, 80 health or whatever you get from it isn't the greatest. Like, especially since you're melee versus range. It also gives you like the 450 health from the health potions that allow you to just kind of sustain. So you can like dash in and out of minions to harass and just heal back up with potions. Whereas someone that starts with like Blade is only going to have one. Sorry, one sec. Someone's messaging me. But yeah, like with Yasuo, like you need to like use the minions a lot to your advantage. Like if someone positions themselves near minions, you can dash through and like use your spins, like because that has a really big AOE. That has a pretty big AOE, and you can use it. It won't draw minion aggro if you hit them that way. If you just straight Q through them, it'll act as a basic attack, and it can be like, dodged by Jax E, or, it'll draw minions. If you spin, it won't apply on hit effects, but it'll do the damage, same amount of damage, so it won't count as like a basic attack. So you can harass like inside of a minion wave with it. It takes a while to figure it out. It took me a while to figure that out. Once I did, it really started helping with like harassing. Yasuo top, I think, works really well against like hyper tanks like Malphite, Maokai, Gnar, things like that. It can also work pretty well against Renekton, I feel, so long as you're able to play safe early on, because you'll outscale him by level like 8, and there's just nothing he can do about it. So it just takes time to get used to the matchups. Like Yasuo top isn't just a thing. Like he's a lot harder than he is in mid lane. Because in mid lane, you're generally going up against squishy mages that have high amounts of burst potential like you do. But in top lane, you're going up against tanks who may not have as high burst, but do a lot more sustained damage. So it's a different play style as Yasuo mid. Yeah, see, there you go. I can't boomerang for another 15 seconds. I like this matchup. Yeah, that's like kiting on Gnar is really important, because like a situation like that, being able to use hyper. And then knowing when you're gonna like level and stuff for your timings, like, cause there I bounced in as a minion was dying, and I knew it would give me enough rage, cause I play this champion a lot, so I know how much rage I get. I get 9 rage essentially from a auto attack. So I knew that if I bounced on, I'd hit 6 and get rage cap by the time I had landed from the double bounce, and I knew that I'd be able to scale up my ult in time. So it's just like little things like that like you need to take into account when playing Gnar. But yeah, like right now, farming under tower. Yep, there you go. It's really good, doing a really good job so far with it. But yeah, if you started Longsword 3, you could have put out a lot more pressure, like using with a lot of the dashes. But that's just something that comes with practice. Like, using the minions to dash to apply that pressure. It takes time. So it's just something you work on. Like it's hard to work, like not hard to work on it. It's just you don't really know that you need to work on it until someone points it out to you. How much gold did you have when you went back, by the way? Just out of curiosity. Do you remember?
Around 1200.
All right. I think that getting the zeal would have been better here. Personally, like the boots are nice, yes, but getting that cooldown on your Q down is like really helpful, and just getting like a little more crit off that. The Avarice Blade's nice with the extra gold that you get, but just the Zeal is a lot better of an item if you can get it with a couple health potions and maybe a ward on him.
Like, I pretty much had enough gold to where I wouldn't have been able to get any pots.
If you had like a Zeal's only 1100 now.
Oh.
Yeah, they reduced the cost of it a while back. So you would have been able to get some potions still. But it's just generally a little better to go for the Zeal if you can. Yeah, it's harder to wall the boulder.
Yeah.
They did buff his Q at all ranks. Yeah, Yasuo's Q got buffed as well. It's 4-second cooldown at all ranks, so just being able to reduce it even further is really good. But you see what I mean with the old, even though I don't have kill pressure on you, like didn't have kill pressure on you right there, just being able to chunk is good in its own. Nice wall. If you have any questions, like feel free to ask them. By the way, like about anything that you've been doing, like anything you could be doing better, because I'm just pointing out general things that I see at this point. So like, if you have any specific questions, feel free to ask. Like, that's what this is for. It's for any questions you have.
Not really, just this is kind of how I prefer to do things.
That's fine. Like everybody has their own style of learning, so. Alright. Still got some time before my next one too. Yes, so like if you had the zeal, I think you'd be able to pressure a little better. But like when I'm in mini form, you remember like my base stats are really low. Like you could be taking this opportunity to like start diving through minions in order to get some poke down on me. Like diving on me isn't necessarily the best option. That's, yeah, that's fine. Yeah, diving on the opponent, like using your E on them, isn't necessarily the best option right away, because your E has the stacks, right? So you want to get the stack up before you E on them to, you know, maximize damage. So just kind of going in and out through the casters and the melees is a really good idea. Double D-blade and... Alright. This is to answer somebody else's question, but double D-blade on Yasuo, it's alright. I prefer that in more like melee matchups like Irelia, because it gives you that health that you need to sustain through true damage, like you survive through true damage. In ranged matchups, I'll generally start longsword, go vamp scepter early on, because that allows you to it gives you the sustain and also puts you more closer towards your Bork. But, you know, just having potions and playing aggressively against range will give you that advantage that you already need. So, hopefully that answered your question there. But yeah, like, keeping yourself alive till this point is really good. You almost have your Shiv now. Like, once you get your Shiv, you essentially, you can out-trade me at any point. So that's when you want to start really being aggressive. Yeah, with the whole boots thing, I personally don't feel like Yasuo needs them. This movement speed did get nerfed a little bit, yeah, but they buffed it back to 345 instead of 340. So it's pretty high, and you've got the mobility from your E. So as long as you ward up, you know, he's pretty safe without that. Wow, I just canceled like 4 autos. Yeah. It's like, okay. It gets really hard. This matchup can get really hard. You know, there's obviously a skill level disparity here, so that's just something I'm not gonna talk too much about. But like, honestly, the way you're playing Yasuo right now, I feel like in order to play like in the future, you should probably look to play like a little more aggressively, especially getting to like when you come back from your first buy. Even before that though, because you sorry, I just lost my train of thought. You're really strong when it comes to like mobility, because like you can just keep going through minions. So it makes it really hard for people to land skill shots on you. And it makes it really hard for people to get away from you too, because if you dash through the minions as opposed to the champion, when the champion uses their escape to try and get away, like, Gnar jumps or someone like, uses a dash, you can just then use your dash to go to them instead, right? And keep on them. But, yeah, like, you just need to play out, like, a little more aggressively early on, I feel. And, like, then you'll be okay. Because you're playing, like, a little too reserved right now. And I don't know if that's just because you're not familiar with the champion, or, like, because you're playing against me. I don't know what the circumstances are. But,
It'd probably most likely be unfamiliarity, and just because I'm used to playing tanks, so I'm used to
yeah,
sitting
okay.
back in the lane.
Yeah, so it's just like you have to play different champions differently, and it just takes practice in order to, play. Yeah, like it takes a lot of practice to play Yasuo. He's one of the like highest like mechanical skill champions in the game, just because like there's so much you need to like be on the lookout for with him. You need like dashes, cooldowns. You need to manage and stuff like that. It takes a lot to play him. And my friend brings up a pretty good point. When you're playing against Gnar, no matter who you're playing, this is just a general Gnar tip, when he's around 50 Fury, like 50 to 60 Fury is when you want to be careful, because that's when he can essentially transform whenever he feels like it, if he knows how to manage his rage. So, playing aggressively, like right now, would be really good, because I couldn't transform even if I wanted to, like if we were even. But like right now, you do essentially what you want to do is just farm at this point. Try not to die. But like once, like right now, I could transform essentially at any point. So it's just a good thing. Like it's the same with Renekton. Just watch the Fury bar. Make sure that you aren't getting yourself all in or something like that, because you weren't paying attention. It's just a lot of like doing a lot of these matchups. It's just a lot of cooldown counting and like a lot of situational awareness. So like once you start getting those down, you're CSing really well. So like in this game it's a little worse because I'm able to pressure you a little harder because it's range versus melee. But you're still CSing extremely well. Like there's nothing, you don't need to worry about that. You just need to like focus on your specific matchups. I really don't know how like your warding patterns and stuff are because like I said there's no jungler, so it's hard to comment on that. But just yeah, like if you play a lot more games on the champions, I think you'll be fine. Honestly, like you have good things that you have that are showing. You just need more time on the champions in order to fully utilize them. You know. So I say give it like a couple days of just playing only Gnar or a couple days of playing only Yasuo and like just figuring them out, and I think you'll be pretty good at them. It's just getting familiar with the champion at that point. Yeah. Yeah, I don't think there's much more to learn from this one because I'm just too far ahead again. But like yeah, like I said, you're CSing well. You stay relatively safe. I actually have to like look for opportunities. It's just I can see that you're unfamiliar with the champion, and I think that can be easily fixed just through like playing them a couple like just take a day or two and just say I'm playing only Yasuo today, and just play Yasuo, and you'll get more familiar with the champion that way. And I think you'll do a lot better. You can go ahead and leave the game. Like, is there are there any other questions, like, questions, concern, anything that you want to ask about, like, just laning in general, or anything like that? Like, how to teach?
Not really, just, like, do you know of any good top lane champions that would help, like, carry a game, or just...
Gnar's really good at carrying. Irelia is a good one. Riven, Rumble, they're both pretty good at carrying. Just any of the more damage type top laners as opposed to like the hyper tanks. It's really hard to carry on a Maokai or Malphite because essentially all you are is a tanky CC bot. You can't like really. You have to have a good team fight in order for those guys to be super effective. But like on Riven, you can just like assassinate an AD carry, a mid laner, someone that's out of position, stuff like that. Rumble, you can have game-changing ults. Whoa.
Um,
It's okay. The noise is gone now. I don't know what it was. But, yeah, just choosing champions like top lane that do more damage. Like, on those guys, if once you're comfortable playing with them, taking Ignite would be okay, because, like, getting the lane advantage would be really good there. But on tanks, it's generally better to take the teleport, because you're not going to be winning the lane super hard. You're looking to just, like, survive the lane till you get your first or second big item, and then be a threat in team fights. So like it's a balance like thing when it comes to how you feel. Yeah. So I think once you get like more familiar with the champ and like what their damage ranges are, like how to maneuver them, and just like knowing what they do, I think that all the other stuff will kind of fall into place when it comes to like the times like when you went in weird and stuff like that, because that's just your inexperience with the champion showing, I feel. But like you're farming, like I said, good, so you're able to get the gold that you need, and once you like get that gold like on these champions, I think you'll be able to perform once you understand them a little better, because it's hard for me to like teach you like a Yasuo or Gnar mechanics if you're like unfamiliar with the champion itself. I feel like there needs to be like at least a little bit of familiarity to where you understand like the basics, to where I can like start, compounding information on the basics. But yeah, once you learn those basics, you can feel free like to come back like if you want more help. I can like once you learn how to play Yasuo a little better, and you start to see like, okay, this is how I dash, this is how I trade, and everything like that. I can help you work on some more advanced things. But for now, I recommend just like playing them, focusing on the basic stuff, and getting that all down packed so you can play the champion. Because like I'm not noticing any like glaring mistakes when it comes to like farming or anything like that, which is generally a problem that like a lot of people silver gold level will have. So yeah, just put in some games is what I feel that you need to do, and then after that you can feel free to either come back or go like watch some other streams. See like Dyrus plays a lot of Gnar and he streams pretty often, and you can kind of see what he does on Gnar to make him successful. Or you could and for Yasuo, you generally want to look for mid laners. Like no one really plays in top lane. Like I said, there are a few differences, but the champion generally stays the same when it comes to playstyle. So if you want to look at like High or Bjergsen or whatever, you can also go to those streams and check them out if you want to learn how to play him as well, like any like tips or tricks. I'll get you the mastery pages. Okay. So for Gnar masteries, you can look at mine. I use mastery page number 7 for when I play Gnar. It provides a good amount of CDR, some early game damage with the 9 points in the offensive tree, and the 21 points I put in the defensive kind of help balance out his late game a little bit, along with giving him that like tankiness he needs in early mini Gnar form in order to just basically not die instantaneously. It gives you some passive regen, damage reduction, armor, MR, just all the stuff that you generally want early on. Runes, I generally use my 6th rune page for Gnar. For Yasuo, you can look at my mastery page 3 or 4. Those are both my Yasuo pages for like if I'm in depending on the matchup I'm in. And I also have my rune page 7 and 8 are also my Yasuo pages for going up against mages or AD. It's pretty easy to tell because against AD I take flat armor. So if you want to like mimic that, or just have some like a template to look at, I recommend those. Those are pretty standard when it comes to Gnar and Yasuo, so like there's not much like variation between people. Like some people will run attack speed. Some people will run AD. Some people run CDR. It's just personal preference at that point. But those are good starting points. So if you have any more questions, now would be the time to ask. Otherwise,
Alright.
I have another lesson here shortly. So feel free for any final thoughts.
I see that all your rune pages are named after anime characters.
Yes, they are. No
Are you,
shame.
Are you an actual, like, legit anime watcher? You watch a lot?
Yes, I watch. I don't just watch like Attack on Titan and say, "Oh, I'm an anime fan." No. Um, I
Like, do you know of any decent ones?
depends on what you're looking for, like what kind of show you're looking for. Like, are you looking
Like,
for
a bit more action-based.
action based? Let's see. What have I watched in a while?
Kind of like Shingeki no Bahamut and,
Well,
like,
that was a really good one.
yeah.
Yeah. I have a really big backlog, and I can't remember anything off the top of my head. I could go to my Mal here later and message you a couple, but I really got to get going on this next lesson.
Yeah,
so
it's fine, just
yeah, I'll
message
message
me when
you.
you can.
Yeah. So like, yeah, if you have any other questions at any point, feel free to message me on League or on the website. Either one, works. I'll get to it. Hopefully sooner rather than later. But other than that, like, yeah, you did pretty well.
Alright, thanks and have a great day.
All right, you too.